You can do the math. We'll start talking about another great centre-forward. He was certainly becoming that for Newcastle United, and Alexander Isak has dominated the build-up to this game against Liverpool. One of the teams, certainly it seemed like the team who were trying to sign him this summer. Thierry, first of all, before we get into the weeds, if you like, how highly do you rate Isak?
Nightmare.
Monday night football then, what a match it's going to be. A grudge match, that is the talk around Newcastle against Liverpool, a game which has so much Premier League history. And earlier I went down to the Monday night football studio and caught up with Jamie Carragher to get his thoughts. Right, I've managed to sneak back into the Monday night football studio to speak to Jamie Carragher ahead of a massive match tonight. It feels like with the transfer saga of the summer, which is still ongoing, as well as the history, this is the perfect fixture for Monday night football, right?
Delighted when I saw the fixtures come out. I think at that stage the transfer saga, as you mentioned, of the summer was just bubbling. Now it's in overdrive, and yes, we can't get away from it. You know, we like to do the analysis of the weekend, but I mean this story just hits you straight in the face. So yeah, we've got to go straight to Isak as soon as the show starts, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen on social media this being billed as a grudge match. Would you say it's a case of the calmest heads will prevail tonight? Or do you actually say the players should embrace the atmosphere?
I hope they embrace the atmosphere. I hope everyone goes a little bit crazy, loses their heads a little bit. Obviously a little bit more Newcastle than Liverpool, because I think that will make for a great game. But I do think both managers on both sides will be saying it's imperative you keep your heads tonight. They've got to make sure that 11 players stay on the pitch.
Yeah, well, the man that everyone's talking about is not even going to be there.
He'll be watching.
Yeah, he'll be watching. How do Newcastle get at Liverpool without Isak?
Well, I think just what we saw last weekend from both teams, I think gives us a little snapshot of what this game will be tonight, where I think Liverpool have looked a little bit too open, I think, in the first Premier League game, but also the Community Shield, also friendlies this season. And yes, last week Newcastle didn't score, and I think I've gone 4 games now without scoring, without Isak starting a game. But they looked really dangerous on the counter-attack. You think of Anthony Gordon getting Konza sent off as well, second half. Alanga had a great chance as well in the first half against Aston Villa. So I think that'll be the sort of the tactical, side of the game, and that's certainly how Newcastle can hurt Liverpool. It's
a tough week for Liverpool because they've obviously got that Super Sunday looming against Arsenal. Do you think a win tonight for Liverpool would set that game up nicely on Sunday?
Yes, it will, but I don't think Sunday's game needs setting up in terms of what happens tonight. If Liverpool are to lose tonight, you'd be thinking, OK, if you're an Arsenal sort of supporter, you'd be looking at thinking, Anfield to be rocking. They'll feel like they've got to make up for that because they've already 3 points behind us in the title race. So I think Sunday takes care of itself no matter what happens here tonight. OK, brilliant. Massive game tonight. We're going to hear a lot more from Jamie on what's been going on at the weekend as well, coming up a bit later on in the show. So, Clinton, grudge match. Is that how you see it tonight?
I can understand because of everything that's happened with Isak and that, but I don't think it's a grudge match. I just think Jamie's right. It's about who turns up, who can get the 3 points. I think it's a big game for both teams. In particular, Newcastle want to start well. Last week against Aston Villa, I thought they were outstanding. You know what they were missing last week, Bella? Someone who could put the ball in the back of the net. So they did miss Isak, but I thought they played brilliant against Aston Villa. We're really unlucky in that game not to come away with 3 points. And it's a big game for Liverpool. Obviously, we saw last week the good result they had against Bournemouth, but this is a hard place to go, St James's Park.
100%, especially at the moment as well. If you were a Newcastle player, would you have that extra motivation to beat Liverpool, just given what's happened?
I don't think the players will think too much about that extra motivation. They know they've got a job to do. They want to get the 3 points, start the season well. They'll forget about all the Isak. It's just it's them against.
Will they?
I think they'll forget that once they cross that white line. You don't really remember about what's happening with Isak. You just concentrate. You're playing for Newcastle. You got that black and white jersey on, and you're playing for the football club and for those fans that have turned up in their numbers. So yeah, as I said, I think it'll be a big game. It's always a great atmosphere at St James's Park, but even more extra spice with Liverpool being there. I think it'll be a hell of a football match as well.
And like Jamie said, Isak's going to be watching, isn't he?
Of course he'll be watching. I was thinking, would he actually sneak in there? But I don't think anyone at Newcastle lets him in there in any of the boxes. I'd definitely be doing that. But I think he'll watch it from home. But he'd definitely be watching the game because I do think that deal will happen after the game.
OK, right, we'll stand by for a new interview with Eddie Howe as he sits down with our reporter Keith Downey to explain how he has tried to drown out the noise around the club. But it's a topic everyone wants to have their say on.